Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about network game drives once again. And I already covered this topic with hard drives and using a network hard drive like in a NAS as a game drive for all of your home PCs. But today we're going to be putting in an SSD and using a network SSD as a game drive. And we're really just trying to see if that gives us a really good gaming experience, especially in regard to performance, because the SSDs obviously will run a lot faster than hard drives, especially in non-sequential reads and writes. But there is a little bit more nuance to it because most people are running gigabit networks, and an SSD can actually saturate a gigabit network. So I'm very curious to see if I really notice a big slowdown between a normal gaming experience on a local machine and the SSD on the network. My guess is no, because non-sequential reads and writes on these SSDs are nowhere near their absolute maximums of 550 and 490 for this particular drive. But we're going to get a game installed. We're going to be using GTA 5 on the network SSD, and we're just going to load it up and see how great the gaming performance is, how sort of the experience is there on both my main rig and then a secondary rig, because both those computers are going to be sharing the same game files, and that's the big advantage to network gaming. And yes, to go ahead and head off some of the comments, I know that you can use a Steam Link, but the fact of the matter is that that will likely add a little bit more latency. Not to mention, you then have to have the gaming desktop that's actually doing the heavy lifting running in a separate room. This way, you could have your NAS, which if you have one is already running all the time anyways, and then you could be just leveraging your local hardware, whether it be in the HTPC or on a desktop setting like this one is. So yes, some of you will prefer a Steam Link, and that may be cheaper, and if that's you, hey, go for it. So I tested out GTA 5 on two different computers, my main desktop computer and then also one of my secondary desktop computers, and on the first load up, GTA 5 played absolutely flawlessly. It loaded fairly quickly, though I have definitely seen the game load quicker from a save game state. Though once in the game, I never once saw any sort of stuttering related to loading in new areas or anything like that. The game played pretty much flawlessly. So for GTA 5, at least in this particular case, the network SSD worked absolutely perfectly. So on the second computer, we have a little bit of a treat for you, and if you've never seen this, then you might not know what's going on here, but this is not a problem with the network storage. This is not a problem with how the game is running off of a network drive. This is actually a dying GTX 1070 graphics card, and this is a card that I have known for a while is sort of on its way out at this point. You can't really play anything intensive on it whatsoever. It can still display a desktop and videos just fine, but as soon as you hop into a game, it gives you all kinds of artifacting, so I do know this card is on the way out. However, other than the lighting problems, the flickering lights, the artifacts, and everything else, this game actually runs really well on the network drive, just like the first computer I tested it out on. I will tell you that there were some issues getting the game to actually start from the network drive, and that seems to be game specific, but in this case, the solution was to actually just pull the game folder off of the network drive and put it right back in the location that it was before. I'm not really sure why that fixed everything, but it did, and the game runs absolutely fine outside of the dying graphics card. So there it is, and of course that was a pretty solid experience, no surprise on that front, but this is a great way to actually save some money in that you can get all of the storage you need put on one machine and then leverage those higher SSD speeds, because even though an SSD can saturate a gigabit network under ideal circumstances, under normal circumstances like gaming, it's going to be much slower and it's going to be much closer to a full gigabit speed by going with an SSD, whereas a hard drive under those non-ideal circumstances is going to be very, very slow by comparison. So you can save a little bit of money, get a lot of SSD space for one rig, preferably a NAS so it's just always online, and then you can leverage the SSD advantage on all of your gaming machines, and you don't have to load each one of them up with a huge amount of SSD storage. You just have that on that one machine. So I want to know from you guys, do you utilize, and I know probably most of you don't, especially if you have one rig, obviously you wouldn't want to, but do you utilize network storage in a gaming setting, or do you use it in a separate setting? I am actually curious what people in general use their network storage for in general in the home. Let me know down below. And of course, if you like this video and you want to see more, give it a like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Hoosier Hardware, and as always, I'll let YouTube queue up a couple more videos around me from my channel for you to watch. I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.